Hello ladies and gentletips. It's another day and another bit of progress, hopefully, for here, the DR200. So I know it's been a while since we made our last video, and pretty much the main cause of that is waiting for all these bad boys to come in, all these different bearings. These are two OEM crank bearings right here. So these are what I'm going to be popping in the freezer, and then they're going to be going in there. It's like a interference fit right here. So you gotta, like, you know, I gotta heat this case up to about 230 degrees and then freeze the bearing, and it should plop right in there. I also took it upon myself to get these two guys right here, and I'm just gonna go out and get all these case bearings changed while we're in here, you know what I mean? They're like, you know, 25 bucks a bearing. It only ended up rounding up to about, I'd say, 80 bucks for all the bearings that I had to buy, but it's just these two. And then there's going to be some in the case down there. So, man, if we got this crank here that's beautiful condition with only 1,600 miles on it, we're going to have all new bearings in this bitch. I'm talking crank bearings, case bearings, the crankshaft bearing. I'm sorry, not crankshaft, transmission shaft, however the fuck you call that. So, man, this baby, if everything goes to plan, man, this thing's gonna be probably 1,000 times nicer than when I bought it. But this transmission here, man, I'm dreading fucking with this, man. So I took a lot of pictures to make sure I just see where all these grooves are at, which direction these gears are in for the with the shift forks here. And I'm supposed to this all should be popping out, but my little confusion here is if I should pop this rod out and the arms first and then pop it out. See, I've just been trying to find a lot of videos on YouTube to reference and, you know, follow their little strategies they do. And also, one of the harder things it was for me to find was a puller for this. As you can tell, there's literally next to no room to pull bearings off of these cranks. And as you see here, this came with the bearing. I'm sure the bearing's fine, but I ain't gonna reuse an old bearing, you know what I mean? So that's what these guys are. I've also added a few more useful tools to my arsenal thanks to a few more recommendations. I found this guy with 75 bucks on Amazon with really good ratings. A lot of people are saying this is essentially the exact same as the old Milwaukee one. And it's pretty legit. It came with 2 lithium-ion batteries, a little charger here. And I haven't really done no torque tests on it, but, you know, I'm not going to be really too picky on how much it torques off shit. I mainly want that as like a speed tool for drilling out, because you saw how many bolts, and they were like, you know, this long and shit, and I had to drill them out. And got us this nice little Motion Pro T-handle thing, and it's got an 8, it's got a 10, and a 12 socket. So you can imagine how nice it'd be just having one little thing here with all your main sockets for your motorcycle on here. Literally, I could work on my entire Grom with this thing. Well, I also went, it's not brand new, but I got me a new cam chain tensioner arm. It's a lot better condition than the one that my bike has, so I have that as well. Oh, we also got us a Super Sprox front sprocket here. Most likely gonna get me a rear one as well and a new chain. I just need to see the engine run before I'm spending all this. I've spent literally a lot of money so far on this bike, so I'm in, man. I'm in. So without flapping my cock holster much longer, let's go ahead and start getting all this unassembled. And then we're going to go ahead and get this crank pulled out of the case, the old crank, and then get her ready for the new one. And then after that, we're going to be doing most likely the case bearings. Right here is where I'm going to be the most freaked out. So I got zip ties on the ready. I want to try to get this out as smooth as possible. According to my manual, it shows taking the forks out as one of the last procedures of putting the transmission in, so we're gonna go ahead and start by taking those out. So I've taken tons of pictures already, and we're just gonna go from there. So starting off, I'm gonna take note that we got our fork here, and it's gonna be underneath this second to bottom gear here. We got this, and it's also gonna be connected to the top notch. It's gonna be all the way over. And then from there, we got this one on its notch all the way over turned. And that's going to be on this guy right here which is going to be that clicks in to shift your gears. And this is these are basically your sprockets of your transmission for your first, second, third, fourth, and so on gear. But I think the DR200 has 5 gears. So this is going to have 5 gears, so there'll be 5 different gears on here, how it works, and that's how your forks switch up your sprockets, and that's how you guys, you know, when you pull your clutch, and that's how you're getting your different gears and what, and that's how it all works. And I'm not sounding like I know what I'm talking about. I'm only saying all this because I watched enough videos on these being taken apart and alongside videos of how they work. So I've just spreading what I've been watching basically. So I see this comes up and down right here. So, and I saw it comes up from the other side. So I'm gonna assume I take these guys off, and then I should be able to take my fork off. And then once the fork's off, I should be able to stick this back through to keep them coordinated. So take it to the right, pull back, hope for the best. There's your shift forks. Top one here says 12A3G. This says 12A1G right here. Alright, so I want to make very damn sure I can see. Okay, numbers are going to be facing up. Alright, this inside fork was going to be all the way on this middle latch all the way to the end. So that's where this middle fork location is. Just so I don't lose track of where that one's at. Not sure if I'm going to get this out alright without that. Oh shit, it's coming out the other side. Alright, now I'm going to take this fork off right here. It's underneath the third. We got 1, 2, and then a sprocket with an arm or with grabbers on it, and it's going to be underneath that one. And we're going to be taking this fork off. Alright, let's fucking try to get this all out together. Ooh, there's a bearing right there. Alright, there's a bearing under there. But we got most of her out here. There we go, boys. Transmission is all the way out. So check that shit out. My magnetic tray holding everything in there nice and snug. And look at boom shakalaka. We all up in the case. Now I should be able to pull this crank out. And at that moment, it's gonna be all set. And these case bearings right here, these crank bearings, or whatever the fuck they're called. Ooh, that bearing feels seized. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's real bad. Yeah, that's getting. I need that fucking bearing for sure. I need a new bearing on that one. So now we're gonna actually be using the crank installer tool at this point to go ahead and press out the old crank, and we're gonna get her new heartbeat, her brand new crank in there. Not brand new, but 1,600 miles new on a newer DR200. So without further ado, let's get this bad boy started. Alright, so I impacted these two things out right here. I've heard these bearings aren't really pressed in, so I'm just gonna take this bracket off real fast just to triple verify that and drop that screw right through that hole. Some metal shavings right here for sure. I don't know if you see it in the bottom of that bracket, but look, metal shavings caught in the bracket. Thank God I ordered new bearings for these. I have a bearing smacker, so I'm going to get that probably taken out that way. But until I'm going to clean up this and then keep it off to the side, make that asshole glide. And those metal shavings get everywhere. So that rod, seeing as like this is the back of where this rod bearing blew, it probably blew and this bearing caught it all because I'm having to physically press hard, and that's a bearing. That's not supposed to work like that. So yeah, that's 100% gonna have to get taken out. All right, I don't know how stupid I feel. I turned this case over like this, and I was gonna go, okay, let me check how the crank comes out. The old crank just came out of its own fucking weight, dude. So I didn't even have to pull it. So we're out. Now all I gotta do is put the new one in, dude. Look, here's the old crank. And look at that shitty ass rod plug that shit on my face. And look at this. Look at this. A freshly open case, ready for a crank. I want to try to press this out. I actually got a bearing presser kit. We're going to try it out right now actually on that. Hopefully it has a size for that. It should. I mean, it's an old C's bearing anyway, so it's not like I'm trying to baby it out. As you can see, we just got a little bit more shavings in here. All the shavings, a lot of them were compacted right here. Look, you can see it right there. Look at that. And that's what we do not want in our motor. So now I'm going to be able to intricately get in here, clean all this bad boy up, get her in tip-top magoo condition, and slap everything back together. We're pretty much halfway there. Ooh, that's a nasty metal chunk right there. Look at that one. Holy fuck. Look at that piece. That's one that would cause your bearing to seize like that one did. Alright, I'm going to try to see if this tool works. So this is the tool. You basically strap one of these bearing smackers on there. And I'm going to try to match the reference of that. And I'm going to try to gently tap it out and see if it works. Because from what I heard, these ones ain't too much of... I mean, they are an interference fit, but I heard they come out a little easier. So we're going to pull that seize bearing out right now. Holy fuck, it worked. I'm so happy. Seized bearing removed. Look at this. I fucking physically can't move that bearing. Damn, I can't believe that worked. I'm not gonna lie. Wonder if I can do that to the fucking... this one. The crank bearing. Holy shit, if it works for that, I'll be tripping balls. Crank bearing removed. Well, look, even this one, look. It's like snagging up. So that bearing pull or bearing pusher outer thingy majigger literally was just worth its weight in gold right now for me, and it worked. No marred case halves, thank God. I bought some lapping compound for these case halves as well. I'm honestly in awe that this just worked. Look at this. I just got this bearing out and this bearing out. Holy Toledo's, dude. I am in awe. Alright guys, this will be on the same video you're watching, but for me, I'm now going to have to hold up, wait for my new bearings to come in the mail, and then we're going to go ahead and slap this baby back together. Alright, so I got this Tusk Crank bearing and gear puller set here, and this one supposedly is made specifically for this application. I was having the hardest time getting this bearing off the shaft because I bought new case bearings. We're going to be sweating them in here, which includes heating up this surrounding case right here to 230 degrees around that area. And I put up my bearing that's in the freezer right on top. Should suck right in. Then I'm just going to give her a little taparoo and she'll be installed. So right now we're going to try to pull this old crank bearing off using this tool. The shit was like $65, but it's like literally my only option, so I really hope this works. So let's see if it works. So we're gonna want to lock this around the bearing. See, this is already making it look like the other one I had where it was just kind of the edges of it. But I'm gonna try to close this in on it and tighten it in a bit. See if we can't get it scooped underneath, you know what I mean? I want to make this as straight as possible, but also as gripped as possible so that we're not having no issues. Looks like I'm actually rising it up right now. See, as you can see here, I want to try to cup it as much as possible underneath for the most grab pressure on there. And then we're going to be pushing on from here with this bracket right here, and it should pry this right off. This tool, it's a Tusk tool, and it does feel a lot more solid than all the other cheaper bearing pullers I've been finding lately, like on the internet. So let's hope that this one's going to be a good one. Pretty much gripped as much as we possibly can at this point. We're going to go ahead and stick this right here like this, as much as possible in the middle like that. Nice little boop right in there. And then we're gonna hope for the best that this bearing pulls right off. And it's off. Yes, it worked. It's off. And there she is, look at. No scoring, no damage or anything. Not bad, not bad. So now this crank is fully ready to go back in the vehicle or the motorcycle. This bearing though is like not even in bad shape. Sweat it in, baby. Alright guys, I can't believe it even worked out as good as it did, but the new crank is fully installed. We got all our brand new crank bearing, we got new transmission bearing here, but now is going to be the fun part of the transmission reassembly. So I'm going to go ahead and start lubing her up. We're going to put some lube on all the shaft inputs right here just to make sure that we can slide on in there nice and easy like. I'm going to put some lube on all these parts just to make sure we're all perfectly lubed up. So we got this whole transmission assembly here. I'm gonna go ahead and as carefully as possible throw this bitch right back in there. There we go. And that flew right off, nice. That bad boy's on. Slid right into place, no issues. Now we gotta reference our photos we took of where the shift forks were located. Alright, so I got her oriented here on where it goes now. I see. So we're gonna have our little fork in here. Put some fucking, oh, she's already pretty oiled. Have that in there ready to go. Boom. And then let's get that shift drum in there. Give her a little lube job on the edge here. Make sure she's gonna slide on in there with a little bit of some ease, you know what I mean? A little bit of anal ease around the rim never hurt. And just like that, the transmission is fully installed in its grooves where it needs to be. Crank's installed. Once the bearing's in the other half, we're getting slapped back together, baby. We're that close, and I can't fucking wait. Holy shit. Come tomorrow, I should get the last bearing, and we're going to be good to go from there. Alright guys, we're going to be using Yama Bond 4. All the bearings are set. I lubed the shit out of every little gear, mechanism, shift fork, lever, the mating surface, or you know, the crank right here. We're gonna be applying a little thing of our silicone here, and we're gonna start pulling her together, and we're gonna be using our crank puller installer tool to go ahead and put on this crank to pull it back, and that's gonna close the cases together. So right now I'm going to be cutting a little tip right here, and we're going to be applying our silicone. I went really good over all these mating surfaces. I'm going to use like contact cleaner, all this other shit, got all the old gasket off. And we're going to be applying some new booty to this shit. Now I did buy lapping compound, and my dumbass forgot to do it before installing the crank. And Ended up not being able to do it, but you know, we're using the Yamabond. It's like a gasket sealant, so I'm sure it'll close up the gaps really well. Just gonna go ahead and throw a little bit more lube in these forks, just making it basically everything as lubed as possible. We want as much lube as we can all around this bitch, especially for our dry startup. I gotta come the time now we were made the case halves. I gotta hope this goes good. Alright, so this is the Tusk Crank puller. We're gonna put it on. Thank God there's literally like a little flat surface on the round part, so we can put it on. And what this is gonna do, it's gonna suck the thing and basically push the case halves together. And then right here, I know it's hard to see, but there's a little cam stopper in there, and I gotta desperately make sure that goes on there right. So we're gonna go ahead and install this properly, and then we're gonna pull it together. Alright, so we got the engine back on its side. I just reapplied the primary drive gear right here. It's gonna be one of those wood rough keys right here you wanna pay attention to. It's gonna keep this shit guided in here. Then we got the second gear right here, and you can notice the mark in there. Sets right in there. And then we got the washer and the nut. And then this one in particular is going to be a counter thread. So it's going to be against the thread that you're usually doing. And also, I don't know if I put the camera on at the time, but I put my starter back in, simply just popping it through the hole right here. Put lube around it. Pop it through, simple, bolt down, good to go. Alright, so I remember there being the thing with the springs right here. I kind of want to get that installed, get that out of the way. So I'm going to grab those parts real quick. So I'm setting up a little angle. Hopefully you can see everything fine, but we're going to go ahead and be putting together... Oh yeah, here's my old oil pump. I went ahead and got another one, new, used, but I noticed this one has a metal gear and this one has a plastic gear. Same thing, so this one must be a better quality one because I don't remember, mine don't have a metal gear, so I'm just gonna use this guy right here. Same McCuney pump, same fitment right here, but you know, seeing as mine might have failed out and that could have been a reason why my shit blew out, it won't hurt to put a new one in there. So I gotta take the circlip off first. And that came off easy like Sunday morning. Oh yeah, it's a way better quality gear. Metal versus plastic, what the fuck? And this is OEM. Maybe the later years had better quality. Same with my crank. I noticed the threads are thicker on one of my sides. Shouldn't play a matter in it. All the dimensions for the crank and shit are the same. But I do notice that either. So this crank, because this crank came from I think an 06 DR200. It might be a better quality crank. I noticed that they have a little bit of some differences there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put some fucking lubrication all around here. And then hopefully we'll be good to mount her on up. Ew, it sounds like mac and cheese. Listen to that. That's what good coochie sounds like right there. Okay, let me focus. Oh man. I'm gonna put me some thread cock on this on these screws. Just some medium strength. Just a little dabble do ya, you know what I mean? A little dabble do ya. There she ours. There she ours. I'm gonna put this fucker on, I think, still. Boom. And boom. And then the circlip back. Now let's get these fucking shift prawls or whatever the fuck you call them. So these have little parts with springs and all that good shit. Alright, we got one side with a flat end and one with a rounded tip. So It shows how they're put on here. Install each gear shifting pawl into the cam driven gear too. The large shoulder A must face to the outside as shown in the illustration. Oh yeah, this is gonna be some fun getting this. Now I totally see what they meant by this. I got one side. Oh man, my dumbass don't know which orientation it's supposed to go in. If I was smart at all, I would have put a towel over all those open ports on the engine, which I'm gonna have to do now and then redo this. There's like all these holes here that go right in the engine case. I mean, I could use my magnet and shit to get it out if I had to, but who wants to go through all that shite? There, now if it flies out, it'll hopefully shouldn't go with the motor. Because if you're not pushing pressure on the spring, these little divots, there's a spring, I have to push these inside while holding these things on it like that. So you can imagine how crazy this is. Oh my god, I got it. Oh my god, my finger's locked. Oh. Oh, there we go. Thank fucking god. I thought that was gonna be a lot more difficult. And then we're gonna have all these brackets to put on the sides. All right, so I referenced my picture just to make sure I have these brackets proper. So I'm gonna thread cock these, and then we're gonna go ahead and slap them in these brackets. Then we're gonna install our gear shift lever. See where we go from that. Should I put a little bit too much on there? This damn band-aid's stuck on me right here. Alright, so there's our brackets. Now we're going to get our gear shift lever here. There we go, installed just how it was. Oh shit, so we're doing the clutch shit now. We're doing it on this side though, so I need to lube her all up. It's showing like a fucking thing, but then a spacer right here, but this is all one piece with a spacer right here, so I'm kind of confused. Does it fit? Reverse torque. Alrighty. And we got this guy. So this is where bagging came in handy, because now I know every little piece that I'm putting on, all the hardware inside goes with it. So here's the washer that goes over the back. As always, we want to have nice lubed K-wide surfaces. Alright, I'm going to lube up my little star area here. And then we got a lock washer here. And we got this guy here. Oh wait, I think this goes, yeah. There's a tongue here, and then there's a flat spot there, so boom shakalaka there. And then you can see the lip washer goes up there, but we need to put this guy on. And thank God this is a normal thread, so we could get our torque wrench out. And I actually have a clutch holder tool now, thankfully, so should be able to hold it just fine. Clutch sleeve hub nut, 36 foot-pounds. So this needs 36 foot-pounds even. Oh. Take this out, give her a test. And what is it? It is a... Wow, it doesn't even tell you the size of the nut. Alright, snapped at 25, so we're good. Now I'm just going to put it up to its 35 or 36 foot-pounds. Oh, there we go. Dude, this thing, it's like buttery smooth. I love this thing. Not a bad wrench. And then we got a tongue washer I got to bend up right here. Oh yeah, then we got our clutch hub, which is this guy, I think. Yep. Oh yeah, we got this double-sided bearing right here. Remember this? I said the long side goes in first. All right, just had to verify that this was all correct. So yeah, this push rod that goes through here, long side first. Got to KY everything up. Drop that bad boy in there. And we got this guy with the double bearing that's going to go over that piece, just like that. And we have a double bearing here. Put a little coat of assembly lube over my bearings so they're not dry. And then from here, my clutch plates go on. There we go. Clutch plates all installed. Now I gotta put my springs in. This would have been a good time for me to get a new clutch and shit, but I spent enough money. I just need to see this thing run. So what I'm gonna plan on doing, you know, once I see this thing runs and I did the job properly, then, and I know it's like doing the work twice and blah blah blah, but I don't give a shit. But then once it runs, I'm gonna plan on starting to do, you know, new clutch, all the other shit. Time to use my trusty ratchet now. Finally got me this bad boy finally, and it's literally perfect for shit like I remember I used this for this and it worked. Yeah. It's built one of those wrenches for building shelves and shit like you get at Walmart. Clutch fully assembled, baby. Alright, now we got this like flywheel part and shit. Alright, now I gotta get this cam chain on. Hold up. On that way, there we go. There we go, now you're speaking my language. There we go, all around the teeth. Put a little bit more lube on this bearing. And then on here, we have our flywheel from there. We gotta make sure we follow the suit of the woodruff key. We got a bearing back here that's gonna go over this, and I'm gonna lube that up right now. Shit, I think from here we just have to... Alright, so now I got to, I had to use my impact gun on here, and then I looked and I was like, does it have to go farther in? Because it looks like it's on there good, but yeah, it is on there good. So now I just got to torque this down to 40 foot-pounds. We should be good to go. There we go. 40 foot-pound. Alright, let's see if we can't get this tightened up properly, shall we? There we go, 40 foot-pounds. Yeah, this wrench has a 90 tooth ratcheting system. A lot of them have like 35 and 40. This has 90. Damn, this torque wrench is... I've never used one that felt this nice. And I'm honestly shocked how cheap it is and compared to like how well it performs over Snap-on and shit. Jeez, we're close, dude. I think I'm close to even being able to put this all back together. Fuck. It's literally telling me now just to do my piston and shit. So I think I'm good to throw the whole fucking engine back on. So it says my oil retainer and clip. So I don't know if the clip's on the bottom or the clip's on the bottom. We are in there like swimwear now. Holy shit. The next step is literally putting the engine in. or the top end, so that means I'm all done. Holy tits. Yeah, it's telling me put my clutch case cover on, and then yeah, all this is done. Then I got this primary drive gear that goes right here that connects this gear to the starter here, but I put that on with the case. All right, a lot of contact cleaner and wipe downs later, we went ahead and we got most of this. I had to use a razor blade and get all that old gasket off. It took me literally like an hour, and there's barely any remnants left behind. I got most of it off. It's just like a color of it. I got our new gasket on right here, and pretty much on everything on this side is done. So now we're gonna go ahead and slap her back together and put the clutch case back on. Oh yeah, another stud goes in this hole. And then we got our clutch case bolts right here. Now I need to put my oil filter and thingy on here. Let's go and just do that right now. Alright, ladies and gentle tips. As you saw there, my camera cut off because my SD card was full. And it's because I've been filming like a madman to do this. But in between that and now, it was hard for me to film putting the engine back in. I was literally sweating like a pig, damn near heat exhaustion, so I didn't want to really fucking deal with the camera. I'm sorry about that, but you guys should know it's literally, you know, I just put it on a stand and I went ahead and threw this guy on. First, thank God the threads didn't get fucked up on this, because man, getting that through here was a bitch. And then we got one bolt down there, then we got this one for this frame that goes to that holds this brace on here, and that goes to this bolt here that holds onto the engine. But the clutch cover's on. One thing you guys didn't see me do, I went ahead and put some Yama lube in between, like just like a coat on the gasket of the clutch cover, just for that little extra bit of protection. Went ahead and threw the air box back on, and here we are. We got our brand new crank, well, not brand new, but our new crank to put in. And one thing I did, guys, that's gonna even make this a lot better, I went ahead and bought, instead of using that aftermarket Chinese thing, because I put all OEM shit in here, right? I went ahead and got me a used OEM jug. It had all its cross hatching in it still, only had 1900 miles on it. I scored that thing for 80 bucks. And I got me an OEM piston. I used part Zella for the very first time, so hopefully I get that fast enough. But I got an OEM piston, and I got OEM piston rings, so this baby's gonna be 100% OEM. And speaking of that, thank you guys so much for all the love and support. All you Patreons that are still continuing to support me. As you guys see, I have 0 sponsors, and you guys mean the world to me to want to support me through this build series. So if you guys want to support me in any way, shape, or form, you can get one of my shirts, keychains, stickers. Support me on Patreon, anything down below. And until next time, guys, we're that much closer to a complete bike. And I would say by the next episode, we're gonna see her start. So get your panties ready, because we in for a whole open flow. So by the next episode, guys, I think we're gonna have a DR200. I love yous, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys the next episode. Yeah.